Scott Golden, Golden Opportunities Coaching, and the @PO Perception Twitter account here. And we're going to talk today about the power and use of courage. Courage is one of the most important things. Living courageously is extremely valuable because the fact of the matter is that courage is the ability to push through pain, push through discord, push through hardship, and push through negative emotion in order to create the life that you desire. You know, oftentimes what happens is people get scared. Then the absence of courage is fear. And so when you are struggling with something in your life, a decision, a situation, a relationship, the ending of a relationship, the ending of a job situation, the ending of perhaps a family relationship, or the connection with certain family members or certain other people in your life, you're either living from a place of courage or fear. To live with courage is to understand that you can react and respond to whatever's in front of you, even if you're uncomfortable. It's pushing through discomfort to get to progress. Living a courageous life doesn't always mean that life is going to be easy, but it does mean that you believe in your ability to respond to whatever's in front of you in a manner that's going to lead you to the progress you desire, and also push through negative emotion because you see on the other side that without the change, without the value of the change, you will not get from life what you want. You know, it's interesting. Various leaders, spiritual as well as practical, have said when talking with people that are passing away or talking with people that are dealing with severe illness and about to pass away, these individuals are individuals who are struggling because they regret what they haven't done. They regret what the chances they didn't take. They regret the life they didn't live. They regret the opportunities that they didn't take advantage of. They regret not living the life they could have. And to live with courage means to accept that there is more for you than you realize. To live with courage is to accept that there is more for you than you even have accepted for yourself, and to push for the advancement in your own life, not because necessarily you know how to get there, but because you want to be able to look back at your life as complete, full, and useful instead of looking back with that regret or that doubt. How many times in your life have you looked back at a certain event and thought, if I just done this differently, I would be in a different situation. If I just approached this from another perspective, I would have lived in a new way. I would have done different things. I would have maybe met somebody new. To live with courage is to understand that to adapt to situations will be required of you in order to meet your own version of success. Let no one define you. Let no circumstance define you. Not your job, not your family, not your relationship status, not your financial status. Let all things be part of the collective thing and being that is you, but never let one thing become your self-identity. When you live with courage, you understand that evolution is a part of daily living. Evolution is a part of the necessity of your growth and development. Evolution is everything, and it is needed from you in order to be successful, in order to grow, in order to develop, in order to be at a different level, in order to know the truth of what is there. And when you begin to understand how to audit your own life and say, here's where I'm courageous and here's where I'm stepping back. Sometimes courage is being willing to forgive yourself. We've got forgiveness audio on this channel, and I encourage you, if you're struggling with lack of self-forgiveness, to go there. Courage is understanding that just because you're taught something doesn't mean it's true or false. Courage is the understanding that when you grow, some people won't agree with what you're doing, what you're saying, who you are, what you've decided. But agreement doesn't always mean progress. Agreement also doesn't mean acceptance. Sometimes we search for agreement when we're afraid to buck the trends, to buck the traditions, to be different, to stand out, to have to move, to have to grow, to have to be a different person. The courage to stand up is where change is made. It's where inventions are created. It's where ultimately everything that has led to personal growth and development really does begin to exist. For when you know at the end of the day what you're trying to accomplish, you also know that you can respond and react in a new way when needed. It means understanding that you can do great things each day, in every moment, from every moment. You can be a different style of person. You can live a different style of life. You can be one of the 1% who are at the top of success rather than the 99% that are striving for success. Now, there's nothing wrong with striving, but to be different, to be a trendsetter, to be a trailblazer, you need to have courage. You need to have strength. You need to have the wisdom to know that not everyone is going to be willing to support your goals, your growth, your development. Now, we all need people. We all need a tribe. And one of the things we do with the Progress Tribe here is focus on the courage to be yourself, but also understand that not everyone is for you. Not everyone agrees with you. Not everyone is going to see you for the greatness and glory that you are. But that doesn't necessarily have to matter as much as we make it matter. Matter of fact, most often, it doesn't matter nearly as much as we've made it matter, because at the end of the day, there are challenges related to, do we want to be ourselves? Do we want to step out? Do we want to stand forward? Or do we want to be a person who is, one of the leaders versus the followers? To lead takes courage, because it means you're going to come up against criticism. It means you're going to come up against people doubting your ability, doubting your authority, doubting your value, doubting what you can do, whether what you say is valid or not, whether you're just a dreamer. And sometimes being just a dreamer is courage, because the courage to dream means the courage to create change within the world. And oftentimes we become so apathetic, we become so almost programmed to believe that the way things are is the way they always have to be, to believe that the way things are is the way they will always be, and what we believe is what we receive and what we become. So the changing of beliefs and the belief of what is possible is necessary. Have the courage to understand that all things will change, and your response to the change is what determines success or falling short, success or being satisfied, success or growing. And the growth that you seek, it doesn't matter how big that growth is, because when it gains momentum, you will understand that the courage to keep going when you're uncomfortable is part of success, because comfort comes for those who work smart. Comfort comes for those who continue to study, continue to grow, continue to push, continue to be at their best. Don't worry about what somebody else's best is. That's not courage. True courage is to understand that someone else's best doesn't have to be yours. All you have to be is in competition with the own best part of yourself. When you begin to own who you are and where you are and what is going in your direction of positive progress, it is then when you begin to understand your full value. Have the courage to be different, but own the fact that you don't know everything. So there's courage in humility, because so often we live from the ego. We live from the place that we have to know everything, that we have to be enough, that we have to be able to impress another person, that we have to be able to talk better or smarter or more educated than another individual, that we have to be able to have solutions. You don't need solutions. All you need is the ability to expand. Expand upon that which you are capable of doing, and expand upon your willingness to learn new things and grow. Courage is the willingness to quit bad habits, even when it's hard, even when you're getting clean or getting sober or spending less money is difficult, because it confronts everything that you've been doing that's a bad habit. It's the taking on of a new habit, not because someone told you to, but because you know that it's right for you. Courage to be yourself and to become a better version of yourself each day is necessary for any person who's going to be a leader in today's society. 100 years ago, the leaders were a very small group. But now, especially in an age of social media, we can all lead in our own way. We're leaders in our families, leaders in our relationships, leaders in our communities, leaders to our children, leaders in our workplace. Even those with the least performance-related obligations or the least jobs can still be leaders with excellence. When you have the courage to live with excellence, through the belief that things are always getting better for you, you will begin to understand your own value. And sometimes there will be distractions. It's not to say that negative emotions won't exist, because they will. And there will be an equal number of supporters and naysayers along the way. When you choose to redirect your focus every time that you begin to wonder if you are enough, or you have enough, or you're willing to be enough, that's when power begins to be where you really need it to be. Turning yourself into a version of somebody else is actually an insult to the essence of your being, because when you try to be someone else, you're snuffing out the individual unique value of yourself. Have the courage to understand that you can borrow from everybody while you become yourself, and who you are now and who you'll be a year from now, who you'll be a month from now, who you'll be a decade from now probably are going to be 3 different people, but that's okay. When you begin to truly understand yourself and to value yourself completely, you'll understand that life is an evolution first. It's not a competition. Let go of the idea that you're competing with somebody else. The only person you're competing with is the best version of yourself. And that competition ends with the last breath you draw. Continue to search for ways to make the world a better place. Never, though, sacrificing more for the advancement of the world than you are for yourself. In other words, make yourself a priority, because if you don't, others won't. It's essential when you're working on yourself to begin to have this balance of power in the motions you take and the motions you try to achieve, but also have a growth mindset to begin to forgive yourself when what you're doing isn't working, when where you're going isn't working, where if you need to make an about shift change, you do it not because you feel that you have failed, but the courage to understand that you might have gone in a direction that isn't progressive, or in a relationship that isn't progressive. We talk about the Progress Tribe on a consistent basis because the Progress Tribe is where everyone belongs as it relates to growth and development of their own aspirations. No one can define what makes success for you but you. Go into your innermost being, go into that higher version of self, your intuition and your spirit, and ask yourself a valuable question: who am I becoming? Because the act of the becoming is the most powerful act that you have within you. It's not what you do, it's not how much money you earn, it's not even the quality of your relationship, but it's the continuation of the desire to become. Have the courage to stand out and be the greatness that exists within you, that can only exist from you, because you are one of a kind and you were born to be that leader, that one-of-a-kind individual. Every person who has ever become something successful has wondered within themselves if there wasn't more. Focus on the more, but be grateful in the moment. And I know that in these teachings there's a lot of double talk, it seems, but the reality is the balance is where courage lives. It's where progress lives. It's the balance between having a reverential respect that things aren't always going to be easy, but you can find ease in every moment. That the circumstances you're in are not the definition of your progress, but yet how you attack the circumstances or how you approach the circumstances will directly impact your progress. When you begin to have a courage-mounted mindset, you will understand that your life is about connecting with others. It's about the interconnectedness of all things. It's about the value that you give to other people and other places. It's about what you do and why you do it. Your why, though, matters more than your what, because if you're not motivated by a desire for progress, eventually you will be unfulfilled. I work with people all over the world to help them understand that true courage is to keep moving, keep growing, keep going, and never settle for anything less than what you believe your best to be. And when you're out of alignment with your best, forgive yourself and begin to shift back to that growth mindset. When you do that, you will own your life. When you do that, the seemingly impossible becomes possible. When you do that, you are truly living. You've stopped existing. You've gone into the mode of living, where history is made, where giants are created, and where you become the character in the leading role of your own life movie. And that's really what we're doing. Think about it. Life is a Mad Lib. It's a series of events that you create the meanings of, you create the focus within, you create whatever the actions you take. And from that place of creation, which is your own power of freedom put into action, that's where your life really thrives. There are over 40 of you now on this channel in the first couple of months. When we get to 100, we're going to give away a $400 value package to one lucky listener to these daily audios. If you have a concept you'd like to see covered in a future audio, please feel free to comment below. Also, I'm wondering, what do you need courage to overcome? Is it a mindset? Is it a financial hardship? Is it leaving a relationship or a job? Comment below. We'll do our best to help you. I remind you once again, keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment. Until next time, everybody.